Hey friends, it's Jennifer with the Passionate Papery Company. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, I've decided to take this bunch of book page that I have here and actually had them wadded up in here, and I am unwadding them and I'm going to make them into something. What? I'm not sure. So stick around and we'll find out. Okay, so I've unwadded these. I decided against these two pieces just because they weren't book pages and they didn't sort of match, so they're going back in the basket. I don't know about y'all, but every once in a while I just feel like crumbling up some paper because I love the way it sounds, and so that's what I did here with these book pages. These were from some, I don't know, encyclopedia or something they were giving away at the school. They were gonna ditch it, and I took it home, and I'm gonna love it. So I think what I'm gonna do is make a junk journal out of this. So just a little disclaimer here. I am going to start by saying there are a lot of videos on YouTube about how to make a junk journal. This is not my original idea, and if you want to know how to do a junk journal somebody else's way, go to YouTube and type in the search junk journal. You'll come up with thousands of different ways. This is just how I'm going to do this particular project. I promise you, if you want to find another way how to do it, you will be able to do so in the YouTube world, or maybe somewhere else. Now all of that is said, I'm going to fold these in maybe one or two signatures. I have a couple of pages like this. I don't know, I said a couple, that was a lie. I have more than that. And I may make some more that are smaller. You know, maybe I can't find them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through here and I'm just going to rework my pages a little bit. So I'll be back. Okay, so now that I've gone through here and put which way, whatever, now I'm going to go through here and I'm going to fold them up and make them into a signature. Okay, so I have taken out the middle part of this, and I'm just going to fold them up a little extra because I don't want them sticking out too far in the middle of the signature. So I'm just going to do that now and rework this signature. Okay, now because this is a little bit bulky, and that's because I crinkled the pages, I'm going to take this apart, not take it apart, but open it up, and I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Smash down each page. Crease! It's a crease. I found this interesting. The word at the top of this page is sporulate, maybe? I guess that's how you say it. So I'm thinking, what is sporulate? It says, past and past part, sporulated, to undergo sporulation. So under that is sporulation. It's a noun. It's the formation of spores. You can always learn things from book pages that you just don't know. Okay, sorry, my headphones got in the way there. I'm going to take 2 pieces of chipboard. Now, these are not the greatest thickness. I'm not sure what thickness they are, but they're a little between soft and hard. So I'm going to take 2 of these, one for the front, one for the back. And then I'm going to cut a spine. And I'm going to do that by fitting my book like this. And I'm just going to mark with my pencil. Here, let me see if I can do this a little bit better so you can see. I'm not going to leave much on the spine because I'm going to make a spine. So, I don't know what is that, maybe 1/8 of an inch? I don't know. I don't measure much. So, I'm just going to take this little ruler here just to flatten this down so I can kind of see, because I want a little bit of room there. I'm just going to mark here. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to mark it up like this. Maybe just a little bit. You don't want a whole lot. Bam. Okay. Now, I'm going to get my cutting board and I'm going to slice these suckers down and then cut my spine. I'll probably make it, I don't know, about 1 inch or so. So I'll be back. So what do you know? This turns out to be my standard book size, which is what I usually cut, a 6 by 9. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And then I'm going to cut a spine. I'm going to cut a 1-inch spine here. And then I'll be back. So I decided to go 1.5 inches on my spine just because this is a little bit chunky and I might want to put junk in it and it might want to be thicker. So I made it 1.5 inches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, every 1/4 of an inch on here, I'm going to make a score line because I want to bend this sucker and make it curvable. So I'm going to find my big ruler to do this with. And that's what you're going to see me do here. I'm just going to score 1/4 of a line. Don't cut all the way through, but score. You know, just barely do it. Okay, so I don't know if I got all that on video or not, but here it is. I just cut a 1/4 inch of space down the spine, and then I just curved it like this, making it all beautiful. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take glue and I'm going to glue down this 1/4 inch on each side. And I'm going to lay it down here on my things, on my covers like this, and I'm going to clip it down. So that's what you're going to see me do next. Alright, fellow peoples, I've got it done, I've got it clipped. Now I'm going to lay it under a nice little book for about 10 or 15 minutes and then it'll be dry. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to use this fabric don't know, I've had it forever. You can tell it's all wrinkly. I'm going to use this thing called Heat and Bond. You can pick it up at really any store. This is called Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. I probably got this at Walmart or maybe Joann's. I doubt it. It's more expensive at Joann's. So I probably got it at Walmart. And then this is a tissue paper from a journal that I already had done. And I thought, why not the gold dots? Because I'm extra. Okay, so here's what you do. You take this Heat and Bond and you measure out what size you want. In my case, it's going to be the size of my cover, which is the 6x9 on both sides, plus my 1.5 inch spine. But you want to leave a 1 inch, or at least a 1 inch, what do you call that? Extra on the side of the journal. So I don't normally do this for you all, but I'm going to bring my iron over here and show you exactly how I make this beautiful book cloth. Okay, so I've got my Heat and Bond here. The first thing I'm going to do is take my fabric and I'm just going to iron it out a little bit because you don't want it wrinkly, you know what I'm saying? Just going to lay this down and kind of measure out how much I need. It's better to have more fabric than to glue down your Heat and Bond onto your ironing board. I've been there and done that. It is not a pretty situation, people. It's glue everywhere. Okay. Alright. So here's my iron. I'm just going to iron out my fabric first. Heat and Bond down. I'm going to lay my fabric on top of the, it's not the paper side, it's the other side. I don't know what you call that. You get my drift. You people are smart. I know you know what I'm talking about here. So I just want to make sure that no glue is sticking out of the thing, or if it is, it's not a lot. It looks pretty good here. Just making a couple of adjustments. You can always cut that down, but here we go. So I'm just going to go over this with my iron. I think it says I'm not using any steam, but I think it's on steam on here, but I don't really have any water in here, so I don't think it's fun. Then I always flip it over here to make sure that I go down really good on it. Make sure that all of those edges got done up, like you see here, and everything is nailed down pretty good. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is peel this paper. Now you can see this one little spot right here is not nailed down good, so I'm just going to go over it with my iron till it's really good. Better make sure this end is too. Okay, now let's see. Yep, you can see that. And see, so it makes this shiny coated side on here. It peels off. You should probably wait till it really cools down, but I'm not doing that. So you can see I got a little thread or something in here. So I'm just going to, that was probably in my fabric, but that will be okay. Yeah, okay. tissue paper, and I'm going to lay it on this side, the shiny side of the fabric, just like this. And now I'm going to iron this down to the heat and bond. It's taking a little bit of that gold off of there, but I like it. It looks a little bit, you know, hoobity-woodity. Okay, so now that I've got that on there, I'm just going to turn it over back to the fabric side and go over it that way. Make sure everything is tacked down really, really good. Sometimes I do this with white tissue paper. I just picked out this blue with dots color because I'm feeling extra today. And so then what you'll do is you'll just cut around. Now, I have been making covers for books a long time. I'm talking probably 10 years. This is one of the first ways that I learned how to make book cloth. That's what they called it, was your own book cloth, because that's what goes over top of your hard book. And so, here it is, book cloth. And so what I do a lot of times is if I'm feeling like I want to make a bunch of these up, then I just go ahead and, while I have my ironing board out, that's what I do. I have one or two up here. Hold on, let me get them. Here are several that I've made in the past, and I just roll them up. And when I'm ready to use them, I'll bring them back out and iron over top of them to make them non-creasy anymore. And so I just have some of these laying around a lot, and that is what I'm going to use in this case. There's some other ways. I'm sure you could research YouTube. There are probably lots of artists out there that have different ways to make covers on books. This is just what I'm going to use for a hardcover, and the reason I do this is because it prevents glue. When you put glue directly down on your hardcover on this, and you just do fabric, it's going to seep through the fabric, and that's, I mean, it's okay, but it's not fantastic. This tissue paper back here prevents it from seeping through this fabric right here. Okay? So let me put all this stuff back and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've shown you that, what you'll do is you will take your book cover, which is this one in my case. I'm trying to figure out what I do with my sewing clips. I think I put them back up. How good of me, pat myself on the back. And you are just going to apply glue to this thing right here. You're going to lay this down. Make sure, I should probably tell you should do it like that. Make sure that you've got, you know, your 1 inch gap around everything. And then what I do is, after I've done this, I'm going to cut slits right here, just right here where the book cover and the spine meet, right there. You can see where the spine's going to start. And I will make 2 slits in that, roll that up and glue it in here. And then you'll see me start on the corners and work my way around the entire book until it's completely glued down. One thing you want to make sure of is whenever you do the outside, I always do the outside first, and because I'll take this bone folder and go really good in the spine. You want that to be down super good. Of course you want it to be down everywhere else too, but because we've ironed it and it's relatively flat, it should go on there pretty good. And then you'll see me cut the middle like I said, and Then I will work the book a little bit, clip it together, shape the book a little bit, and let it dry for approximately 5 minutes or so. And then I will come back out with it, and that's when I start on the inside. So I'm gonna get started. See you back here when I get done. Dun, dun. Okay, friends, now that it's dry, I've took the clips off, and so we are going to work on the inside now. What I generally do is start with the corners, and I fold them up like this to make like a, what do you call that? I guess a triangle, but actually it's just that square there. And then I will clip them. I will do the 4 corners first, and then I will start working on the sides, and I do the same thing. I just glue it, and I glue it back up, hook it back up, clamp it, I can't say the word, clamp it back up. For this, I'm going to use just regular school glue. The only reason that I use the Laneco glue on the cover with the fabric is because this is a stronger glue, and I really like something on the outside, and I've never had any problems with this, so that's one reason I use it. I'm sure you could probably use school glue too. I don't know, it's just being extra. But I am going to use school glue all around this little area here. So that's what you're going to see me do, and I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Okay, friends, so got a few options here. I took a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, and I cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and then I halved that for the insides of my book cover. I also have these leftover pieces, and I have a leftover piece of this that I can reinforce the spine with, which will work good because this again is the fabric with the heat and bond, and I would just cut it down and glue it down, and that's probably what I'm going to wind up doing. But if you don't have any of that, you can use tape. You can use masking tape, you can use duct tape, you can use anything, and instead of doing what I'm going to do, you would just put the tape down onto the spine of your book. I'll show you whenever I get the spine back out. And you could take a piece of paper and cover over top of that with the spine as well. And I may as well just do that and show it to you because I don't want anybody to feel left out. So let me get some tape and let me get my book cover and I'll be back. You always want, because you're going to put a signature in here, you always want to be able to reinforce the spine because it is got fabric on the end of it, but it's really just cardboard, and I always like to have a little something in here to, make that work good. So like I said, you could use heat and bond, what I showed you with the cover. You could take an extra piece and just glue that directly down. That's one way. Another way is you could use tape. And what you would do is, this is masking tape. If I can get it undone here. And I would just go in here and put it like so. I'd probably glue it down once I got it done. I'm just cutting this off for my sake, so I'll kind of have a guide here. You would say a third one there. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then I would just go back and trim this up right here. And then I would go back and trim this up. You get my point. And then I would peel this up. And I would lay down the glue here. I'm going to use some of the Lenico glue, just because it's the spine and I want it to be fabulous. I have been watching Christmas movies all weekend, and so everything needs to be fabulous. I don't know where I'm getting that from. I'm just, fa-la-la-la-la around here. I need to fa-la-la myself up there and get my Christmas tree put up. Get my Thanksgiving stuff took down. But you ever just get in those grooves where you're just like, I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. Anyway, I'm just going to put that, saturate that up pretty good there. Make sure it gets in all of the grooves because you want it to be in the grooves. And then I'm going to just kind of lay that down there, like so. I'm going to take my, I don't even know where it's at, my bone folder. Oh, here it is. Shocker. And I'm just going to go over that a couple 100,000 times just to make sure that it's down really, really good. Okay, and then the next thing you can do is you can use some of this right here to go in. We can work on that. You can use the wide piece, the small piece, whatever kind of piece you want to use. Oh, I kind of like that wide piece. Just glue it in there. What do you think? Yeah, why not? Yeah, maybe not that wide. We probably shouldn't do it that wide. We'll just cut it up like this, maybe like that big. How's that? Oh, that's not a straight cut, but it will be fun. And so then once again, I'm going to go back with my Glooby Ruby. Lenico glue. And I'm just going to apply it very liberally everywhere that you could possibly think of. And then I'm just going to lay this puppy down here. I don't know if that's about right or not. And yes, it will bleed through up onto that piece of paper, but it's in the spine, so it's okay. And then I'm going to do this. Yes, I am. Just going to make sure all these little sides are down. Once again, I'm going to make sure that my book is going to close without too many problems here, because I need it to be like that. And then I'm going to take my thingamaflicker, my bone folder, and I'm just going to go in there and just kind of make sure that everything is good to go on the ends, making sure everything is adhering properly. Let's see what is going down here. It's going down. You can see. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of this, which is regular school clothes, and a fine tip. I'm just going to go back and work that right there. I'm going to stick this in here like this. Get it clamped down. Do that. Look at me go. Okay, then I'm going to go back in here like this. And I'm going to add extra glue in where there is no glue. Because the extra always makes a difference, baby. If you think that everything is simple in junk journaling or journaling of any kind, you are sadly mistaken. There's always going to be something that's not going to lay down right, or something that's not going to be fixed just perfect. So I'm going to let this sit under a book for about 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay, friends, here it is. Now, does it look absolutely beautiful? No, because that's not the way anything works that I do. But we're going to make it look lovely. So I found this piece of elastic to go inside of the closure, or to act as the closure. So when I am deciding on a closure for a book, I put the closure in the book, and then I make sure that the closure will go all the way around the book and still have some on the back like this. Of course, it gets glued to the inside, but you want to make sure it has enough give, because you want it to be able to expand whenever you do all that. And so here is what I do. I still got some of this glue left. Take a tiny little paintbrush, a tiny one. And, or maybe I don't have any, yeah I do. And I decide where I want it. It's going to go about right there. So I'm going to paint this glue onto this fabric, and then I'm going to paint the glue onto this little piece right here. And then I'm going to clamp it down. This will make a very strong bond, this Lineco glue will, because that's just the way it is. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I never measure. I probably should, but I don't. I probably should, but I don't. I don't know. Do you guys measure? I know some people are probably like, yes, I measure everything down to the 1/8 of an inch. I'm just not that way. So let me know in the comments what you guys do. Or you just eyeball it. You're like me, I'm a rebel. I just eyeball it. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to clip it just like so. And I'm going to let that dry. I don't think I need any more there. So I'm going to set it off to the side and let it dry. And then I'll be back. Okay, friends, so I'm just going to take this half paper that I've made from 12 by 12 scrapbook, cut it in half from an 8.5 by 11. And then I cut that in half, and I'm just going to use that on the inside. So I'm just going to take some extra book page, and I'm going to tear it down, and I'm going to use this to make the pockets on the inside cover of the inside cover. Okay, so now I'm going to take these over to my sewing machine, but before I do, I'm going to ink these little pockets so that they will stand out. And then I'm going to go sew around the entire pocket with my sewing machine. And then I'll be back. Okay, so here are my little sewed things. Now I didn't catch it every single place. Am I worried about that? No. Just like here. No, I'm not worried about that at all. So I'm going to cut my strings here. Now we will glue these down right here. I likes it. Okay, so I'm going to use school glue and a paint brush, if I can find one. Here's one. And I'm going to put it on the back, spread it out with the paintbrush, lay it down. So I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Okay, friends, so here we are. The cover, the inside is done, the outside is done. All I gotta do is make sure the signature fits in here really well, like we want it to, and it does. It's gonna leave me lots of extra stuff to hang out on, lots of extra stuff to put in if I want. So the next thing we'll need to do is to sew this signature into this particular book if we don't want to add any more papers into it. So that is what we'll do the next time we're here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hope it inspires to make you your cover and whatever signature you're going to put in it. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this exactly, but We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.